Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. Video looks a little bit different, I'll explain that here in a second, but welcome, hope you all are having a great day. If you're new to the channel, feel free to check out my other videos. I do a lot of Flesh and Blood content as well as Alpha Clash. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. We'll get right into the video because I want to explain a little bit on what I'm doing. The video looks a little bit different. The quality you notice might not be quite as good. I apologize for that. I am currently in Virginia. Visiting family and getting all my documents sorted out before I move back next month. I'm getting my driver's license renewed, all that good stuff. So I'm on Apple headphones on the laptop, doing the best I can, but I didn't want to wait until Saturday to go over these spoiler cards. Also, you might hear an occasional cough. I haven't done a video in a couple days. I've been trying to give my voice a rest. I've literally had a cough for 4 weeks straight. I had COVID and then the flu. Back to back. It was absolutely horrible. So we'll get right into it. Please bear with me on the quality. I just wanted to talk about this. I didn't want to wait too long. So hopefully you can understand that. For the spoiler cards, we're not going to go over every single card spoiled from day 1 and day 2. I picked out about 20 cards here I want to talk about. I also did want to give my initial thoughts. I'm really excited about the set. The set seems really cool. It's such a weird set for me because I like the set. I enjoy the set. It's probably my second favorite set of the year in the past year outside of Outsiders. But I'm probably not going to buy into the set, and it's not because I don't like it. It's just like I'll buy a box or two for fun, but really I'm just going to pick out the pieces that I really want and get the singles. And I definitely say support your LGSs, buy a box or two, you know, do that stuff. But overall, just how I see it, because there's a lot of stuff in this set that's like really cool for certain heroes, but it's not something I'd want to like buy boxes of for theme and stuff like that. Anyway, it's going to be really interesting to see in the coming years, now that Flesh and Blood LSS isn't doing supplemental sets anymore, that all the sets are going to be like full sets, is like how much emphasis do they put on draft versus how much emphasis do they put on constructed in the experience of the set, right? Because like in this set, there's a lot of cool, good common equipment that's really fun. The rare equipment, which we'll talk about here, is like majestic level rarity. Like they actually gave, you know, lower budget options that are very good, and I'm really excited to see what they do with the future sets when it comes to that. But we'll get right into it. First card I want to talk about, this card I'm most excited about, at least like generally, is Apex Bonebreaker. It's a temper 2, so it blocks for 3 total before it breaks, and it says when this defends together with a card with 6 or more, create a might token. So you get a total of 5 value from this arm piece. It replaces Gambler's Gloves, right? Typically in the slot. And I think it's playable in every brute. And I think the brute it's most playable in is Leviah. From my play with Leviah, and let me know, people in the comments below, there are times where you do have to Gambler, right, to get some cards out, you know, have some really above rate turns, you know, or at least to guarantee that Scab Skin roll has a higher chance of going off. But I notice in Leviah I don't roll as much as I do in like Rhinar. And even in Rhino, we'll talk about that in a second. I did some fun casual games, but Leviah, running this in Leviah seems really good, because when you put this into the arm piece for Leviah, she now has 14 block available. 2 from Scallion Flesh Bag, 3 from this, 6 from Husk, and 3 from Scab Skin Leathers. That's insane. And creating the might tokens isn't bad either with her, because it makes her above rate attacks even more above rate, right? Dread Screamer is now 2 for 7 go again. Endless Maul is now a 2-card 10, right? And she's wanting to block with 6s anyway, like all the time. So defending with a 6 is like super beneficial for her and something she wants to do very consistently. So I think in Leviah this is like very strong inclusion, or chance of inclusion. And then in Rhinar, I played about 10 games last night with this it slotted in alongside cards like Agile Windup, the 2 for 6 that I forgot the name of it that we'll go over here. The 2 for 6 that when it defends, you reveal and you clash, and if you win the clash, then you make a agility token. I also have Smashback Alehorn on my list, and I noticed that I didn't miss Gambler's Glove all that much. There was only like one instance where I was like, man, I really want to roll Scabs here, but without gloves, it's risky. Because I was making agility tokens pretty consistently, right? Having 9 to 12 cards in my deck that make agility tokens was really nice. And there might be more ways to do it even more, but yeah, I didn't really miss it too much. And having Rhinar, giving Rhinar 3 more block available really, really helps him in those mid-range game plans. I definitely think it's a thought with Reinhardt. And then KO, it's easily a really, really good thing as well, being able to, you know, stack those might tokens and have really above rate attacks. So super excited about this card. I think it's a strong inclusion in Brute class-wide. It's going to be fun to see what stuff people come up with. Excuse me, I'm going to try not to do that a lot this video. Next one is Aram Aegis, I believe is how you pronounce it. Victor specialization, offhand Guardian equipment shield. So technically, yeah, it's Victor specialization. This counts as a gold. It has temper 2. This is really good, right? Victor wants gold. He's going to be gold hungry. Being able to block for 2 with this, and then, you know, instead of blocking for 1, use it on gold to be able to do different things, right? We're still seeing what the gold payoff is going to be in this set. Victor is the biggest puzzle ever. I stared at that deck, and I'm not a Guardian player by heart, so I'm not going to say it. But just the thematics of this card is really cool. It has a funny interaction with Withstand, which is an old Dynasty card that buffs the defense value of your offhand shield, which then will help it not trigger temper. Would you play Withstand? Probably not, but it's just funny. I think it's Withstand, the one that buffs the stuff. But regardless, this is really cool. Victor's going to be really gold hungry, and when you combine this with Victor's helmet, which we'll also talk about, you start to get, you know, consistent gold generation, because regardless if you know how to build Victor yet or not, it's very obvious he's going to be gold hungry, right? He's going to want gold to be able to cycle through those clashes if he doesn't win them, and be able to, you know, draw cards effectively and use his hammer effectively and things like that. So super excited for this one. Next one is Balance of Justice. This one's been the talk of the town with the Flesh and Blood community. Anytime we get a generic headpiece that's legendary, it's bound to be good, right? Arcanite Skullcap, Crown of Providence, Balance of Justice, you know, what have you. It's really, really cool. It has Guard Well, which is a new keyword. It says when the combat chain closes, if this is defended, it put -1 counters on it equal to its defense value. So when you block with 2, it goes to 0, but it doesn't pop. So it's basically like, yeah, you can just block with it once for 2, and then you can use its ability to destroy it. Maybe in the future there'll be ways to put counters back onto it. That would make it even better, right? But its instant says destroy this, draw a card, activate this ability only if an opponent has drawn 2 or more cards this turn. This is really good into so many decks. Is it an auto include over Crown of Providence? I can't answer that, but I can say now that there's at least, for decks that run a generic headpiece like Crown of Providence, there's at least a certain level of decision making now, because this blocks 2 just like Crown. It doesn't cycle, but at least you get the block 2. You don't lose the block value that you have with Crown. And against certain decks, being able to draw that extra card on defense is going to be really nice. And like any deck that plays Blood Rush Bellow, right, this is going to get used during the game. Any deck that plays Art of War, this is going to get used in the game. If 3 of a kind comes back, this is going to get used in the game, right? Against Victor, period, if he draws multiple cards a turn, this is going to get used in the game. There's a lot of use cases for it. So I think the card is going to be played more and more. It's definitely going to be a little bit meta dependent, because you have to decide, like, is Crown worth it or not? And I think the main decision point is, you know, does your deck have bad arsenal targets, right? Like, for example, Uziri. Uziri can have some pretty bad cards she doesn't want to arsenal, right? Like, you don't want to arsenal a Shakedown. You don't want to arsenal a Shred. And so Crown of Providence really helps to get rid of those bad arsenals off Ponder and stuff like that. But if you have a deck that, you know, that you've been running Crown of Providence with, but you really don't have a super bad arsenal target, this might end up being better, depending on the meta. So, really strong card, really powerful. I think it's going to be really sought after. And the artwork is, I mean, it's been on the playmat and everything else for the Pro Tour. Super, super good. Really excited about this card. Next one is Grains of Bloodspill. Played around with this card a little bit yesterday, nothing too crazy. Whenever a weapon you attack control hits, you may pay 1. If you do, create a Vigor token. Has Temper 2, so it blocks for 3. This card, I was playing against a buddy who was using it on Olympia. Was really good with Olympia. Being able to, you know, make those Vigors and have a lot of value on your following turns is really nice. Because I think certain decks, like Kasai is pretty resource tight. Like, she doesn't have a lot of resources left over most turns. But from the games I was playing against my buddy on Olympia, he had resources left over a lot of times. So, like, at least one. So this at least threatens, like, hey, if you don't respect my attacks, you know, I can just pay 1 into it and get a Vigor for next turn. Or in something like Kasai, you could even play this and say, like, hey, you know, if I swing which we'll talk about here with Hot Streak first, which no one wants to block if you're an aggro deck. You know, being able to pay 1 and like give Vigor for next turn just because your opponent refuses to block it and give it Go Again anyway with something else. Really, really strong. You know, now Warrior has a lot of options. They have this, Courage of Blade Hold, and then you have Tunic, obviously. So super excited to see the design space that people go with Warrior on this. Hood of the Red Sand. This is a Kasai specialization. So this is the first of a couple rare equipment pieces that we have for multiple heroes that are all specs. Betsy has one. Victor has one. Kasai has one. These rare equipment pieces are good. I mean, so like this one is probably the least powerful, right? And it's still really good. Like it's a battle worn 1, already nice, right? Doesn't destroy off block. Attack reaction, pay 1, banish a red and yellow card from your graveyard, destroy this. Target sword attack gets when it hits, draw a card, right? So being able to make your second sword swing for free, being able to draw a card for a potential arsenal if you don't have Go Again on your first sword and they don't want to block it. Like if you swing with Centauri Saber, and most of the time against most decks, they're not going to block the first Saber because it, you know, it's just crappy if you're going to Blade Runner it and do something else, right? So if you don't have Go Again, or if you have the extra resource, you can just play this and draw a card, and then your second sword is free, right? Super, super nice. I like it at rare. It's like even, you could even make the argument to play this, right, over like something else. Like, yes, Crown Promise is really good. Yes, Crown Dominion. But you can make an argument for this card, and we haven't had that with rare common equipment for a long time, right? Since basically Welcome to Wraith, it feels like. So, super excited for cards like this. Knucklehead, this card's so cool. If I play KO, I'm just going to run this card just because I want to run it. It's so funny. Action, destroy this, roll a 6-sided die. Until end of turn, your base intellect is the number rolled. So if you roll a 6, you have 6 intellect, right? If you roll 1, you have 1 intellect. So super feast or famine card. Does have temper 2, so it blocks 3 total. This is like, I'm glad they have this card, and the reason I want to play it is because, you know, some people were feels bad that they took away the dice rolling aspect of KO with the new hero type. So this brings it back a little bit, gives you that little bit of a, you know, the feel of what KO was, which was like a feast or famine, you know, RNG deck. So really fun. And at worst, if you don't even want to use the ability because it's too crazy, it's a block 3, right, with KO, which is super nice. Like, it makes KO have even more block value. Is it better than Scowling Fleshbag? Probably not, but it's really funny, and I enjoy it. And again, these rare equipment pieces like this one here too just make lower budget options that are still very good piece of equipment. This Rider specialization, if you don't want to pay $40 for a Scowling Fleshbag, I guarantee you this card's going to be like a couple dollars. Action, destroy this, draw a card, then discard a random card, Go Again. So you can potential on-demand intimidate depending on your hand, and it has Battle Worn 1. Really solid card. Next one is Assault and Battery. I played around with this one, and I don't know what I feel about it yet. It's a little bit odd. The beat chest mechanic, to me, my first inclination to beat chest, and this is just my opinion, is it's a cool mechanic. There's some really cool value you can get from it, like later value or indirect value, but I don't see how it becomes above rate. This is basically a 3-card 7 Intimidate that gives you an agility for next turn, which, you know, to me, like, it's that it all comes down to how much do you value that agility. Because like playing this from Arsenal is nice, but again, you need 3 cards to do it if you want to get that agility. And 3 costs in Rhino are premium. You can't run many of them. Show No Mercy and Alpha Rampage usually take up that slot depending on now what people feel about each card. There's not a lot of 3-cost cards in the deck, if any. So this card, you know, is that agility worth it? I don't think it is. The beat chest in general, I hope somebody cracks it and finds a way to make beat chest be above rate. Every situation I've seen it played against me so far, and I've played it myself, it just feels like a below rate mechanic. It could give you some cool stuff with Reinhard to be able to like triple intimidate someone on a turn or something and really close the game out. So I think that's probably its best mechanic to me. But other than that, it's just a little bit interesting. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Let me know in the comments below. Next one is Big Bop. I love these cards. So this is Big Bop. You have Bigger Than Big is another one, and the third one, which is the Vigor, At the start of your turn, destroy this. Your next Guardian attack gets +5, and when it attacks a hero, you may wager a Vigor token with them. I think Bigger Than Big wagers a Might token, and then the last one wagers an Agility, I believe. Or maybe they just have the Might and the Vigor. The reason I wanted to bring this card up is because I think this is where they want Guardian to go. I think Crush is a mechanic, right? But I think they want Guardian to really be the setup style, right? Where you block out, you play an aura, you block with one card, then you bop someone for like 13 plus with 2 on hits and a wager, right? With Betsy specifically, or dominate with Bravo. I think that's where they're wanting Guardian to go. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. But regardless, I think it's going to be interesting to see if Guardians are going to take if they're just going to keep trying to play on rate, on hit effects, right? Which we have a couple we're going to talk about here. The Guardian got even more crazy on hit cards. It's ridiculous. Or are they going to go for the big aura style where they just smack people? I mean, I was playing Betsy a couple weeks back just for fun when she first was revealed. Just like jamming cards and messing with the deck. And I played a 19 overpower Spinal Crush because I played Bigger Than Big, I believe. And then I forgot what I pitched, but I gave it overpower and then also pummeled it. Like, it was like insane value, right? Just absolutely stupid. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Guardians do it. I'm not a Guardian connoisseur myself, but let me know in the comments below what y'all think about it. This is the card I was running in my Rhino list alongside Smashback, Ilhorn, and Agile Windup. I love this card. When this defends, clash with an attacking hero, the winner creates an agility token. In Rhino, that's really good, right? You have a high chance at winning that clash against most decks that aren't Guardian. And I just love this card. Like, you pair this card with the arm piece, and you can potentially make a Might and an agility token, and you're blocking 5, right? Like, super, super crazy value. It's a 2 for 6, so its cost curve fits well right into the deck. It makes your Blood Rush turns a little more consistent. I personally think this one specifically is an auto include. There's also Clash of Might, which will make a Might token if you win the Clash. But Clash of Agility specifically, I think, is an auto include in Reinhardt, in my opinion. And you could even make a case for it in other brutes. But super, super solid card at rare. The next one, this card is arguably, I think, the best warrior card that's been revealed so far. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree. But your next warrior attack gets +3. Until end of turn. Until end of turn, not the next attack. Until end of turn, your next warrior attack gets, when this is defended by one or more attack action cards, destroy a card in the defending hero's arsenal. Like, against a Katsu, as me as a Katsu player, I literally can't block for that turn if I have something in arsenal that I care about. Because, and I can't shot block anything, right? Like, I just basically have to take it. And this is good in every single warrior. It's a block 3. It's a 1 for 3 block 3 that basically tells your opponent, depending on the deck, you're not blocking this turn. Or you are blocking and you're giving me your whole hand and your arsenal. Like, it's just such a good card. This card's bonkers. I mean, I think it's the best warrior card that's been revealed so far. We'll see if anything changes, but insane card. Next one, Draw Swords. This card's good in several warriors, but I honestly think this is basically a mini Kasai specialization. I know it has Olympia on the artwork and Olympia in the flavor text, but this card just screams Kasai to me. Your next warrior attack gets +3, draw a card, go again. That means in Kasai, you give +3 to your first sword attack, and now your swords are free for the rest of the turn, and it replaced itself. Like, that to me is like everything you want, right? In Olympia, it's going to be interesting to see what weapon Olympia uses. Because in Decimator, this is potentially a +3 to your Deci and then swing, right? But then it's like basically a sharpened steel, right? So, like, is it really that good? I'm really curious to see how Olympia is built. But to me, on face, this card just seems like Kasai all the way. Pitch a blue, replace itself, make your swords free that turn. Just super, super good. But this cards like this make Balance of Justice even better. So we'll have to see with that. And Golden Glare. This is the headpiece for Victor again. Victor being super gold hungry. When this defends together with 2 or more yellow cards, create a gold token. Blade Break 2. Super, super nice. I think you could even, like, I guess Victor's initial headpiece options are going to be Crown Dominion, obviously, to start with a gold if you want to. Crown of Providence, or Golden Glare. I think this card can literally be, you can argue for it over Crown Providence or over Crown Dominion. And I'm super excited about that. Like I said, I think Victor's going to be really gold hungry. So cards like this are going to kind of be a necessity if you're going for that clash draw card value game plan. Next one is Good Time Chapeau, I think is how you pronounce it. Again, another great rare headpiece. This one's even better. Like, this is honestly the best rare headpiece that they've shown. Better than the Victor, better than Reinhardt's. Action, destroy a gold you control. Your next attack this turn gets, when this attacks a hero, wager a Might and Vigor token with them. Go again, has Temper 2. So for Betsy, it blocks 3, and it says not destroy this, but destroy a gold you control. So if you can find a way to make consistent gold with Betsy, you're going to be able to like wager a lot, which with Betsy is very important because that's how you get the overpower. So like this is just like really, really good for Betsy if you want to go for that game plan of outvaluing. You just got to find a way to make gold consistently, which there's ways in the set to do it. But out of all the rare equipment pieces, I think this one is the best one out of all of them. Then Nasty Surprise. This one's really funny. 2 power, block 3, 0 cost. When an opponent effect puts this into your graveyard from anywhere, create an Agility, Might, and Vigor token. So off Codex, off of, if you Arsenal this and it gets CNC'd, right, automatically create a Might, Agility, Vigor. It's really, really cool. I think the problem is, like, this card fits naturally best into, like, either a super heavy blue base like Decimator deck or Ninja this fits really good into. I think Fi honestly is the best for this. But is it better than what you already have? Like for Katsu, this would technically fit in Katsu. It's a 0 cost, block 3 blue that attacks, right? But is it better than all my combo cards? Is it better than Warmonger's Diplomacy? I think not, right? So if we ever get into a meta where we're doing a lot of like on-hit discard effects and a lot of on-hit destroy arsenal effects, which there are cards in this set that do that, this card could get played a lot. But it's going to be really interesting. I think it's a meta-dependent card, to be honest, and a deck-dependent. Not every deck can run that card. Prime to Fight. If you controlled a Vigor token this turn, this costs 1 less to play. If you controlled a Might token this turn, this gets +1. So not if one popped, if you control it at all. So if you make one, or if one had popped to start a turn, that counts. So if you have a Vigor token, this becomes a 3 cost. If a Vigor token popped to start a turn, because Vigor token is going to make it cost 1 less, and then since you control a Vigor token, it's going to cost 1 less. So if you have just a Vigor token, this is now a 3 for 9 in Guardian. Let's just give him more above ray attacks, y'all. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. If you have a Might token pop at the start of the turn, this attacks for 11. It gets +1 from itself, +1 from the Might. So in a perfect world, this is a 3 for 11 with Guardian. I don't understand. It's so ridiculous. I'm a Guardian hater. We all know this. But this card's insane if you can get it going. And even not, it's a 5 for 9, right? That doesn't have an on hit, but it's just a good, a good ray attack, right? Because 2 for 6, 3 for 7, 4 for 8, 5 for 9. So it's on rate even without the buffs, right? So super, super cool card. Prize Gallia, Olympia Specialization. This one, again, this also I think is honestly Olympia, maybe is Olympia's main headpiece. Attack reaction, pay 1, destroy this. Target weapon you attack, control, wagers a gold token with defending hero. If you care about gold a lot, it still has Temper 2, so it's really nice. Yeah, if you have an Olympia build that cares about gold a lot, right, and be able to cycle hands and stuff like that, it's going to be really interesting. I noticed playing against my buddy last night that Olympia, like, all gold really is for him is a hand filter, it seems like. It doesn't seem like it does anything crazy. So maybe this isn't played over like a Crown of Providence or something, but regardless, it's another good rare level option. Then we have Shift the Tide of Battle. This one's really cool. Target warrior attack with attack power greater than its base gains go again, all free action. The next time an opposing hero is dealt damage this turn, create an agility token. I think this is useful into any warrior that wants to pump cards. I think it's good in Bolt. I think it'd be useful in Bolton. I'm not a Bolton connoisseur, but I could see it being useful in Bolton. I actually see this being really cool in Dory. Like if you get a counter on Dawnblade, like this gives that Dawnblade go again, and potentially allows you to create an agility token. Like, I've had times against a Dawnblade where they don't have Refraction Bolters, and they swing like a naked Dawnblade for 4 at me or something, or 5, maybe with 2 counters, and I'm not going to block it, because if they have an Iron Song, then I just wasted 2 cards, they still have their counters. Well, this will say, okay, I'm going to give it go again. I may not be able to swing again. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I'm going to create an agility token next turn, and I'm going to keep my counters, right? So, super interesting, and I love the artwork. The artwork is sick. Like, that's so cool. Really excited about that one. This card. So, Tenacity is interesting. This is basically reverse Salt the Wound. When this attacks, it gets plus X, where X is the number of defending cards on the combat chain. Remember, defending cards counts equipment. So, in a perfect world, if I'm a Katsu, and I go on this crazy combo line like full bonds, whatever, dishonor, pop breeze rider boots. You give me your whole hand and 2 pieces of equipment, so 6 cards. All of a sudden, this is now a 0 for 8 at the end of my chain off pouncing links, right? Insane card. Really, really fun at yellow. I think this also could be used in Bolton personally. This is just my opinion. Like, playing this card off of at the end of Illumina turn when they're probably giving you their whole hand is just really nutty. Yeah, I'm really excited. I don't know how good this card's going to be yet. I just want to play it. It's super fun. I think it's really good in Katsu. Good in Katsu. I like a one-of in a pouncing link specific build. I think it's good in Phi. I think it's useful. It can be played in Bolton. Any deck that, or if we ever get into a meta where people are just blocking a lot, right? This is super, super nice, right? It's just, at worst, I think most of the time this is going to come in at a 0 for 4, 3-block yellow, which is good. At best, you could get a 0 for 6, 0 for 8, which is just insane value. Super, super cool card. Lead with Speed. So this comes in a color wave. I think this is going to be used at red and blue and Brute. Particularly blue, probably. But your next Brute or Warrior attack this turn, great, gets +3. Create an agility token. This is also amazing in Warrior. But in Brute at blue, like, being able to give something +1 and then create an agility for next turn is just really good value. You could even argue it at red. It is a 2-block, which feels a little bit bad. I think overall this is better slightly in Warrior. But I do think that this is just a really good card at red and blue. And I think there's going to be ways to play it. And again, if you're in Rhinar, if you're wanting to get rid of Gambler's Gloves and make consistent agility tokens, maybe this replaces a Barrage and Beatdown. Maybe. Who knows? I think it's really interesting. It costs 1, which makes it a little bit off, a little bit, not hard, but harder to play, right? But still really, really good. Then we have Hot Streak. I'm super excited to play this in Kasai, and I'm going to be testing this in Kasai. I think you play this alongside a Centauri Saber in Kasai. I think leading with this card is such a lose-lose for most decks, right? Because if you block it with an attack action, you give it go again. And if you don't, I'll just Blade Run it anyway, and then you took 2 damage, right? And if I activate Kasai before so like, where this is really good is you activate Kasai's ability, banish 2 yellows, 2 reds before you swing with this, and then, like, so you're wagering a gold next time a weapon hits. Not wagering, but get a gold next time a weapon hits, and you play this Hot Streak against a Katsu. As a Katsu, I basically have to let it hit and give you a gold, because if I block, I'm going to give it go again. And no one wants to ever block it the first one anyway. And in the late game, this could be even more impactful, because let's say an opponent's at 2 life, and you don't have a go again source, but they have to block this with an attack action card. Now it has go again. Now you can swing Centauri Saber, right? I think this is going to be a really cool card to test. I don't know if it's better than 2 Sabers yet, but I definitely think that there is a use case for it. And it's just a card you never want to block ever. Like, ever. If you're certain decks. Because you're just giving them go again. Any attack action-oriented deck just doesn't like blocking this card. So, super excited for that one. Then we're going to get to the Guardian cards that just... Man, they love giving Guardians on hits, I swear. It's a 3 for 6, technically below rate. It is not technically. It is below rate by 1 point. When this hits a hero, if it has a base greater than its attack power greater than its base, they discard a card. Right? So if you lunging press this, it's a 3-card 7 on hit, discard a card. Really, really freaking good. Or if you can find a way to wager this with Betsy, and it becomes overpower at 7. Right, on hit, discard a card. Just really, really good card. I'm not saying this is game breaking. This isn't going to like piss off everyone. It's just, it's such a good card for Guardian. The next one, Command Respect. Man, so weird they put the word command in it. I know they were being a little tongue-in-cheeky on that one with command and conquer. Same thing. If it's base power, if its attack power is greater than its base, and it hits, destroy a card in Arsenal. So it's just a mini command and conquer for Guardian. I think these are both really good in Betsy because of her overpower mechanic. It's also just really good because now you're going to see Guardians playing cheeky lunging presses. There is a reason lunging press is reprinted in this set. I think it's a little bit for cards like this. So really, really good there. And then the last card, the card I'm super excited about. I just want to try it. Rising Power seems really good in Brute. I don't know how it works in Guardian yet. I don't think it's like super good in Guardian because it is a 2-block, doesn't do much, doesn't have an on hit. But like with Brute specifically off Blood Rush Bellow, this is a 2-card 9. This is a 2 cost 9 because it gets +1 from itself, +2 from Blood Rush Bellow. So it's a 2 for 9, which next to Swing Big is the second best value attack you can run in Rhinar specifically. Off Art of War, right? If you're running Art of War in like Leviah or even Rhinar, I've seen a couple running 1 or 2. This is now a 2-card 8 or 2 cost 8, right? If you play Savage Feast off Agility and draw into this, you now have a 3-card 13, right? Like you could get so much value off of those cards. And I think if it was a 3-block, I think this would almost be like worth saying like it's near like just good value to have in your deck. With a 2-block, it makes it a little bit iffy, I think. But I'm excited to try it because I want to try to keep my cost curve low in Rhinar with the agility tokens because I want to be able to almost like work like a mini Leviah, right? I want to be able to do Savage Feast into Rising Power, Savage Feast into a 2 cost, you know, Savage Swing into a 2 cost. Like do the same thing that Leviah does where she does like Dread Screamer and a Graveling Growl. If Rhinar can find a way to do that with the Intimidate triggers, you're just going to see like super crazy insane value. So super excited about that. But yeah, I think that's all the cards. It is. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I want to pick out some cards. If there's any cards I didn't mention that you want to talk about, definitely leave a comment. Again, for the quality of the video, I'm doing the best I can. I just didn't want to wait a whole week. Like it'd be 2 weeks without a video and a week through spoiler season without a video. I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more videos this week with the best I can with the setup that I have. I'm currently in my sister's old room, sitting at a desk doing a video on Apple headphones. So can't say I'm not dedicated regardless, but hopefully enjoy the rest of your day. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If not, it's totally fine. Go to Nerd Flesh and Blood Creator. We have a lot making really good content right now with the spoilers and with the new set. This is an exciting time for creators to like gain a lot of following, a lot of like progress. So definitely give them some love, please. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Y'all have a good day.